The Championship League is the first tournament of the season, played without an audience in the middle of the summer with no real TV coverage. It's a wonder we missed it really. But in the spirit of better late than never, we're going to be finding the best shot from the Championship League, as usual by recreating all the shots as accurately as possible before playing them in the fewest possible attempts. And we begin with tournament runner-up Joe O'Connor, who would eventually lose out by 3 frames to 1 in the final against Stephen Maguire. But here he's got a complicated plant. It's a long way away and it's down the cushion, but he plays it perfectly to secure the frame. This is a pretty decent shot from this position. This tournament has a short frame group format, which means you need to win your group of 4 3 times in order to make it through to the final, which is only a best of 5. Because of all of this, the professionals don't necessarily always take it that seriously, especially when their chances of making it through to the next stage have already disappeared, which creates a few spectacular shots, and that's great news for this video. With this one in particular, I'm getting very close every single time, but I need to be absolutely perfect in order to knock the red down the cushion. I took a bit of speed out of it on that last shot, and I think that's helped it go in. That went in quite nicely down the cushion in the end because I was able to keep the speed off it, unlike this next Yuan Sijun shot, which requires a lot of pace as he's potting the black and screwing the cue ball off the side cushion and back across the table for the red in the middle pocket. From here, Yuan was able to take the frame and eventually the match by 3 frames to 0. I can see this one's going to be difficult to get the cue ball back far enough. Even though I'm really close to the black, I'm going to have to hit it perfectly, and I think that's about as good as I can do. I've just about made it across the table and I'm in position in the red. I can't really complain about that one. Jack Lisowski is playing the type of shot that usually terrifies me, because not only is he potting a difficult long red and screwing the cue ball back, he's colliding with a lot of balls here, so there could be a lot of things to replace. He'd take this frame, but only draw the match in the end. I'm so glad that's gone in first time, but that's about as well as I can cue it, unfortunately. An impressive shot from David Lilley now, who's a long way behind in this frame and needs a high value colour if he's going to have any chance of winning it. Not only does he play the cue ball around the cushions perfectly for the black here, but he's able to take the frame with a 71 break and eventually the match by 3 frames to 0. As you can see, this may take me a few shots to get both the angle and the line right, but I can't really work on the line until I pot the ball. So it's gone in, and I could see I've come down the table, but not quite with enough side spin, or possibly I've hit it a little bit too far down the cushion. Either way, I've got it a little bit better this time. In fact, this looks more or less perfect. The pace is good as well, and I'm almost spot on in position on the black here. Zehuang is potting his way out of trouble now, and not only does he get the red, he screws the cue ball all the way back down the table into bulk. From here though, he'd end up losing the frame, but would eventually take the match by 3 frames to 1. Well, I fluked it on my first attempt anyway, but can I screw it back enough? Well, I think that shows I can, but it's a real shame my second attempt hasn't gone in there, because I think that's about as well as I can physically cue the ball, and I've just pushed the red onto the far jaw, and the pace has kept it out. So I'm going to need to find a better shot than that, and that's going to be a struggle, because each time I play a shot here, it seems to get slightly worse. I was hoping to get closer to the pocket every time I played this shot, but I seem to be getting further and further away. I'm not 100% sure what's happening, but when you're trying to put as much power and backspin into the cue ball as you possibly can, this is the sort of thing that can go wrong from time to time. I think I would have done incredibly well to get it after just 2 attempts, but if I get it now, it's probably taken a lot longer than it should have done. This is starting to become a bit of a problem, and it feels like I'm not playing it well enough, although I'm starting to get a few that are rattling again, and I've potted one, and I don't really care I haven't screwed back far enough because it doesn't feel like I'm ever going to pot this red ever again. Despite there being a lot of distance between the red over the pocket and the red on the side cushion, Dylan Emery's still able to make the cannon and give himself a good chance of taking this frame, which he does and eventually takes the match by 3 frames to 0. As you can probably tell from my first attempt, this is going to be a really difficult shot to judge. I've got to hit exactly the right point on the red here, otherwise I won't get anywhere near the red on the side cushion. That was in fact close. I've got it with this attempt. I've actually hit it a bit too slowly, but I don't care because I think 4 attempts there is really good. Jordan Brown has a lot of distance between these 2 reds, but despite this, he's still able to play the plant perfectly and get in position on a bolt colour. He'd eventually take this frame, but draw the match 2 frames all. The plant is absolutely dead straight, so all I'm really trying to do here is pot the first red through the second red, and that's actually worked, and I've got both of them. That's actually pretty impressive. I'm definitely taking this one. Joe O'Connor's not playing safe on this awkward long black and decides to take it on into the green pocket. As he gets it, he also gets a 2 frame to 0 lead over Tom Ford and will win the match in the end by 3 frames to 0 and go on to be runner-up in this event. Unsurprisingly, I couldn't get this one first time because the angle is really awkward to play a shot at this speed, but I'm happy to get it after just 2 attempts there. A powerful shot from Dean Young now as he knocks this red in down the cushion and stuns the cue ball a few times across the table. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to hit this one hard enough to get close to the same shot that Dean played, but it did allow him to take the frame and get a 3-1 win in this match. I've potted that about as hard as I can. Unfortunately, there's nothing more I can do there without having a faster table. Top spin is what is needed in the next shot from James Cahill as he spins the cue ball into the cushion, which makes it arc back down the table. It looks pretty good and heads towards the blue, but is near enough meaningless as James missed the blue and would lose the frame and match by 3 frames to 0. The brown's a distance from the cushion, so I'm basically just throwing my arm at this and hoping for the best, but that's gone pretty well. I've topspin the cue ball back down the table and I've actually ended up a bit further down than James did. We've got a long Yuan shot right after we find Din Hugh, who's in the island of Sheppey in the UK, which is there. This positional shot from Long Zehuang allows him to take the frame with a 58 break. He arcs the cue ball onto the bolt cushion and gets it to spin round the angles, dropping perfectly for a red on the top cushion. I'm not sure I can get that much of a reaction out of the cue ball, and even if I do, I don't know if I'll be able to play it with enough pace to get back down the table for the red, but let's have a go. I've actually hit this pretty good, but it doesn't look like it's got enough pace, even though the line is roughly there. It's a couple of feet short in the end, and it looks like I'm going to have to play it with a little bit more side or backspin to get the cue ball to come further across the table, and that's going to mean I'm going to need to strike it even harder still. So this looks like it's going to be a real challenge if I'm going to get anywhere near back down towards the red, and I'm just struggling to hit it hard enough here. I'm missing the shot a few times and getting the position wrong because I'm just trying to hit it as hard as I can now and see what happens. That's actually pretty good. I don't think I could strike it any harder, and as you can see, the line definitely isn't right, but unfortunately that's all I can do there, and maybe I can cut it in from this position. Yep, I got it, and unfortunately that's as good as I can do. Not only does Ricky Walden find a way out of trouble here, he also pots the red at the same time. I think this one's going to require a small amount of left-hand side to get the cue ball to jump off the top cushion and back down the table and avoid the reds. From this position, Ricky was able to go on and take the frame, and eventually the match by 3 frames to 1. The question is here, when I pot it, can I get the spin right? And the answer is unfortunately no. I need a little bit more left-hand side there to get the cue ball to jump wide off the cushion and make it past the reds. The side will also swing the cue ball wider, as you see there, so I've made it back down the table. But unfortunately missed the cannon on the blue, but I think that's definitely good enough. On to the results of the British Open, and last week you selected Joe O'Connor shot H as he screwed the cue ball all the way back down the table for the black in perfect position. But who's going to be the winner this week is up to you to decide using the link in the description. You can vote for free and I'll announce the winner next week. But if you want to see some previous videos, including the British Open, then have a look at these two. And remember, don't just watch play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later.